Hey YouTube, it's Bambi and I'm back with another video. So before we get started, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so that you can stay connected, know every time I drop a video. And if you just happen to stumble across this video, you definitely want to make sure you stay tuned because I really want to make sure that I'm putting out some decent content, and I'm sure it's something that you probably want to watch or definitely share. The other thing too, hit the little bell so that you can get notified of when I drop another lit ass video. Yes, that's right. I said lit ass video. So, just to make sure that, we can stay on track with time, I really don't want this to be a long video. But if you read the title, then you know that today we're really just going to be discussing those 10 things that I personally wish I would have accomplished or did before I turned 40. Now, keep in mind, some of these things on the list I actually did accomplish before I turned 40, but I wish I would have started a lot sooner and understood the importance of some of these pieces a lot earlier on in life, because then I just feel like I would be a lot further than where I am now. And then the other thing too, I always keep in mind is that, you lead by example. So some of those things I could have been doing at a younger age, I wish I was, because it just would put me in a better position now. But in any event, I have my notes here. So if you see me looking down, it's because I want to kind of make sure that I'm not missing anything. So we're going to start off with number 10. These items are not in any particular order. I just figured that, yeah, I do a countdown from 10 to 1. So starting off with number 10, I wish I would have started my own business before turning 40. Now, starting my own business is definitely something that is actually in the works. But had I had the opportunity to really sit back and plan and do some of these things a lot earlier on, I definitely would be established as far as the business is concerned, and more information on that to come. But early on, I realized that, I really wanted to stop exchanging time for money. You basically, at a minimum, probably put in 8 hours at your job or, towards your career, whatever that position may be. And, a lot of times you're exchanging your time for dollars. And I just felt like, what I had to offer was worth a lot more than that. So I want to be paid based off of my skill set, and not having to put in a whole lot of time to, achieve the same outcome. But pay me for what I'm worth, not, for taking up a whole lot of my time. So had I started my own business a lot sooner, I wouldn't have wasted a lot of time, one, and I just would have felt, a lot more fulfilled in my career. So, yeah, soon to come, but wish it would have come a lot sooner. So number 9, purchasing property as an investment. So, yeah, it honestly wasn't until I turned 40 that I actually decided to purchase a home. First time home buyer at the age of 40. It was never something that I had a desire to do. I've rented for a very long time, and I've lived independently for a very long time. But at some point, when I decided to move out of my last apartment complex, probably it hasn't been a year yet since I've moved, soon to come, but I knew that I didn't want to live in that particular complex any longer, and so I started to look for some other places. But long story short, because this is not all about the move, my point is, I don't know, I just woke up one day and something said, you know what, go ahead and apply for a mortgage. Like, why not? And so I did, and decided to go forward with it and purchase my first home. But I wish I would have started invested in property a lot sooner, because, I could have 3 or 4 different homes and, rent them out so that, that's just additional income. So I wish that was something I thought about a long time ago. Doesn't necessarily mean it's not something that I could try to do now. But yeah, I think that's something to keep in mind prior to, you know, hitting your 40s. Number 8, developing healthy eating habits. So one thing that, you know, I don't know what it is, but you turn 40 and things change. You start to realize that, you know, you had muscles and bones and joints that, you know, never made an appearance before. It's very important now. I realize that, you know, you have to eat healthy and, you know, exercise regularly. It wasn't something that I really took an interest in prior to like turning 40. But I just realized that, you know, life is short, and, you know, had I developed healthy eating habits earlier on, I would, you know, be in a pretty decent routine now. It wouldn't be a struggle. Yeah, I'm sure even the healthiest people struggle with maybe like cheat days and those types of things. But I just wish I would have, I don't know, adapted that lifestyle a lot earlier on in life. And so it wouldn't be something that I'm trying to figure out, you know, later on in my 40s. So, yep, that was number 8. So number 7, I wish I would have gone straight through undergraduate, graduate, all the way through to obtaining my license. Yeah, so not going to get into a whole lot of detail about career. We can talk about that in another video. But when I graduated from high school, I did go into to obtain my bachelor's. And, you know, I think I took a semester off, so I probably didn't start until that spring after I graduated. And so did that. And then once I graduated with my bachelor's, I took off for 4 years prior to going back and getting my master's. And I don't want to say it was time wasted, but because I still worked full time and got experience in the field. And I just wish I would have gone all the way through and took the time to get the bachelor's, get the master's, while at the same time doing everything that needed to be done to obtain my terminal license. And I didn't do those things. And I'm still working towards the terminal license piece. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But that's just something that I wish I would have done prior to turning 40. So number 6, believe it or not, yes, this is on the list. Don't judge me. Just hear me out. I wish that it was in the cards for me to have gotten married and started a family before I turned 40. It's not something that is out of the question for me or, you know, not in the future. But when I look back, I wish, you know, things would have been a lot different in terms of just having the opportunity to, you know, have children that, you know, grew up with my friends' kids and, you know, just had that opportunity to make sure that, you know, family had an opportunity to, you know, see you get married and those types of things. And, you know, I don't know what the future holds. Marriage is in the cards, but I don't know. I just wish it was something that, you know, could have happened the way that you envision in your mind, where, you know, some of us kind of, you planned your life out, right? And then God kind of throws a monkey wrench in your plans and laughs at you and like, yeah, nah, it's not happening that way. But, you know, thinking about having kids earlier on and getting married at an early age, like 25, whatever the magic number is that, you know, people come up with in their head. Yeah, sometimes I wish that that was, you know, still my plan. But it wasn't. And, you know, I'm okay with that. It is what it is. We're going to keep on moving. But it is something that I figured I'd add to the list because, you know, I never thought that I would be 40 and, you know, not have children or be married at this point. That's probably, again, a story for another day. So we're just going to keep on going down the list. Number 5. Now, this one is kind of a cheat. And I say that it's a cheat because I did start this before I was 40, but I wish I would have started like in high school or even earlier than that if it was possible. But I wish I would have started my natural hair journey way before I got into my 30s. I think maybe I started when I was like 35-ish or so. I say that because I honestly think that deciding to return back to natural was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And you know, it's so me. It took a lot of, and you know, again, a story for another video, but it did take a lot of trying to get used to, you know, what my crown represented and, you know, how I can make it work for me. And I just wish I would have started delving into that a little bit more earlier on, because I just think it really is a part of my identity. I know you're not, you know, supposed to become attached to, you know, physical attributes and those types of things, but I just think it's a part of who I am, and I wish I would have started that journey a lot earlier on. But anyway, we can get into that into another video. But moving on, number 4, take time to really understand credit. So again, I knew what credit was way before I was 40, but it really didn't become something that I really took interest in and cared about until I turned 40. I would hear all the time, you know, you want to make sure that, you know, you're paying your bills on time and, you know, you're building credit. Let me tell you, I was in college and, you know, accepting federal aid, money I didn't need because I had scholarships and such that was paying for school. But I was taking out that additional money, and I was out there at the beginning of the semesters at that bursar's office getting that refund check because I wanted to use that money towards other things. And so I wish I would have just did things differently and really put effort into building my credit, because, you know, now you get to a point where, you know, you recognize the impact of having good credit, decent credit, whatever you want to say. Let me just throw it out there. I do have good credit, but it wasn't something that I cared about until much later on. And so you don't want to spend that time having to, you know, clean up things to try to put yourself in a better position when you're in your 30s and going into your 40s, because you just want to be able to understand it and do what you need to do to keep it right earlier on. At least that's what I wanted. I wish I would have done those things. Again, in a good position now, but it's just something that I wish I would have done before I got, you know, into my 40s. Next one, number 3, almost done. We're going to move it along. Invested time in staying connected. So I still think I could work on this area a little bit, but, you know, I have friends and family that I don't necessarily stay as connected to as I would like to, especially, you know, my family majority of my family is in North Carolina. It's not a lot of us here in Jersey. I mean, I have some extended family or individuals that, you know, have been in my life forever and consider them family. But as far as like sharing blood, biological family, a lot of us are not here in Jersey. So I just wish that I would have put more effort even as a young adult to maintain those relationships with my family, you know, that are in other states. So I could do better, could be better. Again, I'm not going to accept full responsibility for those pieces because, you know, they can reach out to me too. So yeah, you know, life is short, and I just wish that, you know, I would have had a better connection and to just family that don't live in Jersey. So number 2, honestly, this is probably, I know I said that this list is not in order, but this probably would have been my number 1 had I put everything in order. And I apologize if I keep looking over here. I'm looking at myself on the screen. But anyway, I just wish that I would have learned earlier on and actually put time into really learning how to take care of myself first before attempting to take care of other people. I say that because do I understand, again, how this impacts your life and the importance of being able to really take care of yourself? Now, I don't mean taking care of yourself as far as like being independent, paying your own bills, providing for self, because I've always done that. But I mean, as far as making sure that mentally, physically, and emotionally, you know, I took the time to, you know, pour into me, and be a little selfish when it comes to my own self-care, because I realize now, and really attempt to preach to others that, you know, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I guess it's just something that with time I recognize that, you know what, I do need to make sure that I'm taking care of me, because if I don't take care of me, then, you know, I may not be around to take care of others or to care about other people and such. So I think probably the number one thing that's on my list, that I wish I would have started doing a lot sooner than, you know, 40, was really learning how to take care of self and love self, and to understand that that doesn't mean that, you know, I'm being selfish, or, you know, like I'm only concerned about me and not other people. It means that I recognize that, you know, again, you can't pour from an empty cup. So yeah, that's probably number one on my list. But I'm going to go to the number one that's written on my list right now. And that would be, I wish that I would have stayed motivated and consistent with starting my YouTube channel way before I turned 40. Again, this is something that wasn't new for me. It wasn't something that I stumbled upon just like a month ago and decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I contemplated starting a YouTube channel years ago. Again, probably 6 years at this point, or 5 years at this point. And I think now, had I started and was really consistent and, you know, uploading and really, you know, honing in on the craft of creating videos and such, I think I would be so, well, I would definitely, I would be so much more experienced and further on in building my channel than I am now. But you know what? It's never too late. Never say never. And so here I am. And yeah, so that wraps up my 10 things I wish I did before I turned 40 list. Hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if anything on my list matches some of the things that could possibly be on your list, or what other things would you add to the list? Like, what would be your top 10 things that you wish you did before 40? Again, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, share, and I'll try my best to see you on the next one. So come back for more. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon.